What's up, y'all, and welcome back to my channel. Thank y'all so much for tapping back in to see what I have to say. And with that being said, what are we talking about? We're talking about Hedera HBAR in this one, okay, you guys? Y'all know y'all come for the quant, but I'm telling you, stay for the Hedera. They are. You should be tapping into Hedera too. You know, it's an incredible opportunity, you guys, okay? But in this one, I've been telling you, the institutional capital is getting ready to start flowing through these networks. And just like I've been saying, it is now happening. That door is now open. And you have these ETFs, things like the Canary Capital ETF, now live and onboarding massive amounts of Hedera being locked away. Okay, you guys, follow me on this. Hedera, not only just that Canary Capital, but now they're starting to be mentioned in multiple basketed ETFs as well, you guys. The institutional leg of this crypto journey is starting, and it is starting right now in 2025, and this is the precipice of the next 4 or 5 years of inflows into these products that we hold. You guys, your Hedera, your Quant, your XRP, your XLM, your XDC, your IOTA, if you hold Litecoin or whoever you hold that's getting these ETFs, y'all, that matters, because that is what's going to kick this next leg of this bull run off. It's not retail. It's going to be the institutions, okay, you guys? But in this very first video, it's coming from my boy Brandon, the HBARBULL, and he is going over some new ETF news in regards to Hedera, and I will be right back.
Where we just seem to continually get news, and that's in HBAR ETFs. First, I'm going to go into Canary Capital, the issuer of the first HBAR-backed ETF, HBR. They amended their S1 for another ETF that's going to include our native asset. This one covers American-made crypto platforms, a category that became popular with the current administration vowing to make the United States the crypto capital of the world and throwing around ideas like homegrown platform tokens not having to pay capital gains taxes. Now, that hasn't come to fruition, but I think we are seeing a really good environment that could benefit these American-made tokens. And now for the broken record. With HBAR being included in leading crypto indexes like the Coinbase 50 and the CoinDesk 20, and fitting nicely in categories like Layer 1s, Made in America, and RWA platforms, HBAR is in the perfect spot to be part of the basketed ETF revolution. And I don't think calling this a revolution is an overstatement. I think this is exactly what the early majority of investors need to get involved in the crypto space, and it benefits a sweet spot, like we've been talking about, of tokens. It's not Bitcoin, because Bitcoin, even though it's included in these basketed ETF, its weighting is reduced relative to its market cap. It's all of the other tokens that are in those basketed ETFs but aren't named Bitcoin, and of course the ones that aren't included that go beyond the Coinbase 50 or beyond the CoinDesk 20. It's the ones that are in that sweet spot that are going to have the most benefit from it. Plus, once these ETFs start to become available, you're going to have all of these investment firms and their sales teams pushing these assets. And a perfect example of that is what we saw come out of Bank of America this week. They suggested an allocation of 1 to 4% crypto exposure for all of their clients. And the vast majority of those clients aren't even close. And like we've said over and over, they aren't going to try to pick winners. They're going to take one of these basketed ETFs and just blindly put money into it. Now, as they start to get skin in the game, they are going to get more interested in it, and they're going to start to look at all these different tokens, and that's where I think HBAR is going to start to stand out. They're going to look at the council, they're going to take a look at these use cases, they're going to take a look at the utility and the vision, and that's really going to resonate with this early majority, a lot of which are going to be Generation X and boomers who happen to have a lot of money. And what Hedera has built to this point, its professionalism and its grand vision for the future, is really going to have an impact. And heck, then they might start looking at HBR to get some direct exposure for those that haven't been able to get exposure in the spot markets and centralized exchanges.
Now, you guys just saw all of those different baskets that Hedera is now being coupled into. So as inflows flow into those basketed ETF products, whatever percentage that is allocated to Hedera only grows the market cap, you guys. See where this is heading. This is heading into a space that I don't think any of us in retail is quite ready for, okay, you guys? But jumping even deeper into this new landscape of Hedera. You guys, Vanguard, the company that said, we ain't touching crypto with a 10-foot pole, Vanguard, has now entered the game. And one of the 5 that they are now offering to their institutional clients, this amount of capital of over $11 trillion under Vanguard's management now has access to Hedera. You guys, out of 20 million cryptos in the world, out of 5 of those, Hedera is one of them. Follow me when I'm telling you, Hedera is going to be known as their brand name for building on blockchain. Okay, you guys, hopping into this Vanguard news, come from my boy Brandon the HBARBULL, and I will be right back.
And speaking of HBR, it also looks like 50 million people are likely to gain access to the spot HBAR ETF in the near future. Vanguard is pretty much the largest brokerage, depending on which metric you use, with 50 million customers and well over $10 trillion worth of assets under management. I've seen numbers as high as 11 or even higher. And these numbers vary depending on the source, so if you've seen some different numbers out there, that's all right. But suffice to say, Vanguard is big. Now, as has generally been the case, about a year ago, they were adamant that they would not give clients access to crypto ETFs, trying to stay on the conservative side of things. Well, that changed in a big way this week. I think they realized that they were shooting themselves in the foot watching BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF become their biggest moneymaker. And this week, they dropped a bombshell, pulling a 180. They're starting to allow clients to buy these crypto ETFs. Now, I attempted to buy some HBR to test this out, but it still looks like it's unavailable, at least it is for me. That said, the issuer of the ETF, Canary Capital, posted that it was available, so my guess is it's not going to be too long. Now, when I saw that I didn't have access, I actually called Vanguard customer service to see if there was something else I could do to get access. They said that it wasn't available right now, but they're continuing to evaluate these different ETFs. I do want to say that if there are any other Vanguard customers out there, give a call to customer service. Let them know that there is demand for the HBR asset so they get it listed on there as soon as they possibly can. And if anybody has had success buying the HBR ETF on Vanguard, please let me know down there in the comments. Now, this post may be automated, but I'm not surprised the account has nearly 500,000 followers. It said, HBAR is one of only 5 altcoins Vanguard's 50 million clients can buy starting today. Not 500 altcoins, 5. When $11 trillion in boomer retirement accounts gets crypto access, but the menu is Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, XRP, and HBAR, concentration of flows becomes a mathematical certainty. And just to give an update on the spot ETF, we saw an additional 12 million HBAR in inflows this week, bringing the total to 459 million HBAR held by Canary. Next up, last week we reported that HBAR had been added back into the Coinbase 50, but it was buried in some Coinbase paperwork, and we would be much happier if there was some clearer signs. That's what we got this week, with a post directly from the crypto giant itself. So it is official. We are back in the Coinbase 50.
Now, you guys just saw that. Y'all truly understand, since the middle of last month, we've now had 400 and almost 60, if not 60 by now, million. That's almost 500 million HBAR now locked away in this ETF product. Truly understand and see how it's more and more and more of these institutional players start the onboarding of their Web3 processes. You heard what Bank of America said in that clip. Bank of America told them you need to start allocating at least 4%. Think about it. Think about for some of these people that have billions, hundreds of billions of dollars at their disposal. Think about what even 4% of that is, you guys. We're talking about massive amounts of money coming into this networks. Okay, you guys, follow me on this, okay? But this very next video, HBAR made history yet again. So that Canary Capital ETF, you know, that I think HBAR was the 3rd crypto to get an ETF in the world, right? So now that ETF has been tokenized, and not just tokenized, but tokenized on a holiday after hours, and it was traded during off hours. First time in history that has ever been done. And it was done not just the HBAR ETF, but it was done on top of Hedera. So Hedera just tokenized its own ETF. What? Craziness, okay, you guys? We're hopping into this video coming from my boy, all in crypto, and I will be right back.
HBARBULL executes first after-hours transaction of its tokenized Canary HBAR ETF on the Hedera mainnet. Now, goes on to say, London, December the 4th, 2025, Archax, the UK and EU regulated digital asset platform, today announced the tokenization and first on-chain transaction of the Canary HBAR ETF on the Hedera network. The complete out-of-hours transaction is a landmark achievement in the blockchain-based finance. An ETF linked to Hedera's native token, tokenized and transacting on the Hedera network itself outside of traditional market hours. There is an entire disruption coming to the traditional financial space and distributed ledger at the heart of it. And they have a choice to adopt or get cannibalized by, using Christine Lagarde's words herself. This transaction demonstrates how regulated asset classes can operate on blockchain infrastructure in a continuous 24/7 trading cycle, even during market closures for public holidays. Archax facilitated a live transaction of the tokenized Canary HBAR ETF during off hours on Thursday, November the 27th, 2025, when traditional markets were closed, showcasing the potential for digital assets such as tokenized equities to transact beyond traditional market hours. Tokenizing the Canary HBAR ETF on Hedera is a significant step forward in bridging traditional and digital markets, said Graham Rodford, the CEO and co-founder of Archax. This initiative showcases how regulated financial products can exist and transact on-chain while maintaining the compliance and oversight expected by institutions. This represents new functionalities for ETFs, said Greg Bell. We've also interviewed him, Chief Business Officer over at HBAR Incorporated, a subsidiary of the HBAR Foundation. Executing transactions of tokenized ETFs on Hedera, including outside of standard market hours, demonstrates the real-world benefits of distributed ledger technology for modern finance. Built on Hedera's institutional-grade public network, the tokenization of Canary HBAR ETF highlights how traditional financial instruments can be used, transacted and settled securely on-chain with regulatory oversight.
Now, you guys just saw that. Y'all, the institutional leg of this journey is just beginning. Don't let red days, don't let down market days, or whatever the case may be, fool you out of the most incredible opportunity anyone in retail has ever had since the beginning of time. And it is because retail actually front ran the institutions. There has never been a point in time where there's been an asset class where the institutions have come in after retail has already had their processes cemented. This is the first time in history, you guys. And these ISO gems, your Quant, your Hedera, your XRP, your XLM, your XDC, your IOTAs, your DAG, your VeChain, your Jasmy, your ADA, your Matic, or any other compliant project out there, you guys. Hold tight, diamond hand this one, because the next few years in this crypto journey is going to be incredible, because we truly do have now not just institutional interest, but institutional action and movement into the realm of distributed ledger technologies, you guys. Okay, I won't hold you too much longer. This is a little short bing banger. I just want to bring you this news about Hedera and all of these major things they have going on globally, you guys. This is truly an incredible time to be in the space of Web3, okay? If you made it all the way through this entire video, type in HBAR ETF, because that HBAR ETF is making waves and moves, and it's going to take the actual asset of HBAR to places that we can only imagine and dream. Okay, you guys, just hang tight for this roller coaster ride, because it's going to be incredible. Okay, incredible. Okay, so I appreciate you. You already know, for real, y'all. Till the next time. Peace out.